So, what do you do when the money in your bank account is actually losing value every single day? In Bangladesh, high inflation is forcing a lot of people to ask that exact question. And instead of just watching their savings shrink, many are turning to a really powerful and collaborative new way to invest in real estate. Today, we're going to break down how this group investment model works and why it might just be a total game changer.
So, here's our game plan. First, we're going to dig into the economic pressures that kind of set the stage for all of this. Then, we'll see how that pressure created a huge demand for a specific kind of urban housing. After that, we'll look at the smart new real estate model that popped up to meet that demand, how group investing makes it all possible, the legal stuff you absolutely have to know about, and finally, we'll talk about how this is really about more than just making.
All right, let's set the scene. To really get why this new investment model is taking off, you first have to understand the financial pressure cooker that a lot of people in Bangladesh find themselves in right now. And really, it all boils down to this one crucial question. It's what every single saver and potential investor in the country is asking themselves. With the cost of everything going up, where do you put your hard-earned cash so that it doesn't just disappear? And wow, this number right here, this is the heart of the problem. As of October 2023, inflation was sitting at 6.15%. Think about that. It means if you have cash just sitting in a bank account, its buying power is shrinking by over 6% every single year. Your money is literally worth less tomorrow than it is today. So you can see the dilemma, right? The stock market can feel like a roller coaster, and starting a new business from scratch, that's a huge risk. So people are asking, where can I put my money that's not only safe, but also gives me a steady, reliable income? How do I grow my wealth without losing sleep at night? And that brings us to this critical fork in the road. It's a pretty clear choice when you lay it out like this. On one side, you've got your idle cash, just sitting there getting eaten away by inflation day after day. But on the other side, you've got the chance to put that money into smart assets, assets that don't just fight inflation, but actually generate income for you. Now, you'd think all this economic pressure would just be bad news, right? But here's where it gets interesting, because that very pressure helped uncover a massive and growing opportunity. And it's all happening in the urban housing market. It's a really fascinating paradox when you think about it. The broader economy might be facing some serious headwinds, but at the same time, the demand for a very specific type of housing, we're talking high quality, fully managed, hassle-free homes, isn't just surviving, it's booming. And let's take a closer look at who's actually driving this demand in a city like Dhaka. Now, while local professionals and residents make up the biggest piece of the pie, look at that 20% slice. That's expatriates, foreign professionals who are moving to the city for work, and they are a huge driver of this market. They're specifically looking for places that are safe, convenient, and fully serviced from day one. So you have this very specific, very high-value demand, and that created the perfect conditions for a totally new, much smarter approach to real estate, one that's built from the ground up to meet the needs of today's modern renter. So what is this smarter model? Well, it's actually pretty brilliant in its simplicity. It's a total win-win. You have operators who find property owners with empty, underused apartments. They partner up, and the operator comes in and completely transforms the place into a fully furnished, professionally managed home that's ready to rent. The results? High occupancy rates and a steady, reliable income stream for everyone. And when we say hassle-free, this is what we're talking about. It's not just an empty promise. It means having everything you need, from 24/7 security and high-speed internet to a fully stocked kitchen and all the essential appliances. These aren't just empty boxes. They are complete living solutions designed to attract and keep really good tenants. Okay, this all sounds fantastic, but let's be real. How does an average person actually get in on this? Well, the answer is a really powerful shift in thinking. It's about moving away from trying to do it all on your own, and instead embracing the power of the group. And the way it works is just 3 simple but really powerful steps. First, a group of investors pool their money together. That means no single person needs a massive amount of capital to get started. Second, by doing that, you automatically spread out the risk. You're not carrying the entire burden yourself. And third, you get to sit back and let professional managers handle all the day-to-day headaches. And this chart, it just lays it all out so clearly. If you try to go it alone as an individual investor, you need a ton of capital and you take on 100% of the risk. But as a group investor, the amount of capital you need is way lower, and that risk gets shared among all the partners. It just makes so much more sense. Okay, but let's pump the brakes for a second. Because, of course, no investment is a sure thing.
And before anyone jumps in, we have to talk about the crucial reality check, navigating the legal landscape in Bangladesh. And you really do have to be careful here. We're talking about some serious hurdles you need to be aware of. Things like property titles can be really complex and lead to disputes. You have to be on top of all the local regulations, building codes, and tax laws. And you absolutely need to understand the country's tenant rates and eviction laws, which are quite strong. So, what's the big takeaway here? It's simple, really. You have to do your homework. Getting good legal advice isn't just a suggestion, it's non-negotiable. It's your best defense to avoid any major headaches and make sure your investment is secure. All right, we've talked about the money, the opportunity, the risks, but the story doesn't end there. And this might be the most important part. This is about how the model creates value that goes way beyond a simple financial return. This is about making a profit with a real purpose. You see, the impact here creates this amazing ripple effect. On the one hand, you have the economic benefits. It creates jobs in property management and maintenance. It strengthens the whole rental market, and it helps attract foreign talent. But then you have the social impact, which is just as powerful. It literally improves the standard of living in cities, it encourages ethical investment, and it helps build more sustainable communities. And honestly, this quote just sums up the entire philosophy perfectly. For a system to last, it can't just be profitable for one person. It has to be sustainable. And that only happens when everybody involved, the investors, the people running the properties, and the tenants who live there, all come out ahead. Everybody wins. Which leaves us with this one big final thought. Is this powerful combination of smart economics and positive social impact just a temporary trend born out of necessity? Or could this actually be a blueprint for a whole new way to invest, a more ethical, more sustainable path for the future? Something to think about for sure.